I think for me, no shortcuts is basically a mirror. Either you hide behind a mirror or you face the mirror and you face the person in the mirror to push yourself to the best.
Hello and welcome to the No Shortcuts podcast. Today we have Saurabh Dalvi on the show. He is the head of operations at Cycling Bandits, who handles the airport services at 3 major Indian cities.
With cycling, actually, now there is a balance in my life. Like earlier, so I was very sure that career is of course important. So while I've given everything to make sure I don't have to do my success later, do it till you reach 40, because I don't believe in to wait till 50 or 60. That portion of mine, I am glad that whatever I did and those extra hours, nights that I put in to come where I am today is where I finished at 40. Cycling got me my old school friends.
You cycled 3,500 kilometers from Kashmir to Kanyakumari.
There were times when you wake up and your body just gives up. 4th or 5th day, you are just like you're sitting there not realizing that what are you going to do. But if your mind pushes you, you go through it. No matter what. And there was pain. I would not say it was easy. You can actually feel the burn on your shoes, like you're on a flame.
Right.
So it was not easy, but all 3 of us, what I can tell you is, if you have the right people to support you, you are just sailing through. All of us had our own challenges, but nobody left each other's back.
So tune in to watch Saurabh Dalvi on the No Shortcuts podcast.
Feel the beat. We are rising high. Legends don't stop till they reach the sky.
No shortcuts.
It's about the work. No easy wins. Just a focused mind.
No shortcuts.
The journey runs deep.
No shortcuts.
Now hear them rise.
HD, firstly, thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure.
And welcome to the No Shortcuts podcast.
Thank you so much.
So, HD, the very first thing, we like to do is get to know you a little bit more.
Sure.
And get to know how you came to be who you are today. So, if you can take us back to your early days, tell us about your childhood, about your parents, where you were born, leading up to today.
Okay, so I would anyways go behind a little, many years back, because as a only child, I have been born and brought up in Dadar, and my grandfather was a commissioner of police and very, very disciplined man, in the sense morning 5, no matter what time he used to go to bed, even after his police job, he used to wake up in the morning at 5:30 and go to Five Garden for a walk. My dad also was something very similar. We had a dog, so 7 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, he'll get up and go for his. I was the pampered one who was an overweight child, and I was in school. I was okay, but towards the end, after 7th and 8th, my weight was almost reaching 100 plus. So my grandfather used to always be behind me, and tell my mother, you need to really do something about it. Look at, I don't like the way his things are happening. Unfortunately, I didn't realize it, because you are small and you just keep hogging and eating. And he got me an Atlas cycle in 7th standard as my birthday gift, saying that at least with this man will get out of the house. So on the weekends, he used to wake me up and saying, get up, because my school was on a Don Bosco High School. So it was not a Saturday, Sunday off. It was a Thursday and Sunday. We were one of the very rare schools which had a Thursday, Sunday off.
Okay.
So he used to wake up in the morning he was anyways on the routine. So Thursday morning, he would wake me up at 6:30. He would say, sit on the cycle and let's go to Five Garden. So my mother and my father used to panic, because, on the road, I'm talking about 1994, 92. So they see that nothing doing. And, he was a very, like an army guy. I am behind him in the car. I will watch him. So I went, because 2-3 days, grandfather, out of respect.
Right.
But then eventually I never caught up with that cycling thing. I put all the stickers on the cycle. Sunday, Saturday, if I'm feeling hungry to eat something, I would take on the cycle and go to have some burger or something. But that was a kind of cycle ride. So he did try to push me. When I reached college, I was at 136 kilos. So I was like really huge with a 44 size shirt till 12th standard. And unfortunately, my grandfather passed away when I was not reforming. But his passing away, certain things, there are times that you realize that there has to be a stop and change.
Right.
So I think it was 12th standard when I realized that I think I'm not going the right way. And I need to do something, because I didn't want to be a joke of, and I was in HR college, Churchgate. So everybody in my college was fit, wearing good clothes, and I didn't have much choice because of the size.
Correct.
So I told my mom, I came home, I said, I think it's enough. Now I'm going to FY BCom. I will do something on my weight and I need to transform. And I am always a guy who plans myself much in advance. So I knew I had to go to London for my further education, and I didn't want to end up in UK with that kind of a weight, and you know
Right.
that
Yeah.
your respect or your self confidence goes down when you are something obese. People don't tell on your face, but behind the back they talk. So that's when FI become, I went to a local dietitian. I remember it was Gujarati Gymkhana at Matunga, which I joined first, and that was my first time I ever entered a gym.
Okay.
First 2 months went in time pass, looking at it, and how people look at it, कि ये कौन आया time pass, क्या करेगा भगवान जाने. But I met a good set of friends over there. The dietitian also was a very good friend of mine. So she told me, Saurab, I will help you off the record to get some diet to start rolling the weight.
Correct.
If you start rolling it once and you come down to 6-7 kilos, trust me, you will automatically get into the groove, and that's exactly what happened. So 140, 130, that
Slowly,
entire
slowly,
yeah. And then after 6 months, I was in the kick. So I completely stopped eating outside. No outside food for 3 years till TY become. And from 140, I was down to the last weight was 68. That was in 2004.
It's almost half.
Yeah. Half. And then I stopped at that, and then I said, because it's enough.
Correct.
Anything more would then be anorexic. And then it was the right time for me, because I had got my admission in London Business School, so I was going to go in the intake of September 2004. So by that time I was ready, in perfect shape. And then I went to UK. There, of course, because I was already in the culture of gym, and then there was cycling culture, but obviously we were on a student expense. So dad had already paid a huge amount for that. I could not tell him, can I buy a cycle? So in the gym, cycling was there. We entered that. And of course, LA Fitness was my gym that I went to. So my instructor said, I told him my whole background. And he was like, why don't you do a basic course to understand how diet and fitness works? Because then you can continue further. You don't need to refer back to any dietitian or this. Then I did a LA Fitness ka 3 months ka crash course about how basic nutrition works, how you need to do your gym workouts, what stresses you out, what doesn't do that. And since then, that whole thing followed. When I came back, then the lifestyle was changed. In the sense, it was a lifestyle which was stressful. Like sleep was very less, because I thought I am a Superman. So I used to sleep for 3-4 hours. I used to do night shifts at airport because this was a new setup.
Correct.
We were starting a company new. Okay. So there were almost 20 hours of work I used to pull in for first 1.5-2 years. So I remember Lina Mogres had a 24-hour gym in Bandra. So I used to finish work in the night at 2 o'clock, directly go to Lina Mogres and do a 2 to 4 workout. And then I realized when I entered the gym, I'm not the only mad person there. The entire Bollywood industry used to come in the night after their late night shoots, and the gym was not empty. So there were quite a lot of people in the gym. And then 4:30 go home and then go to bed. Then eventually when after 2-3 years, I started doing my medical test. That's when my doctor said, you cannot drag this forever. Somewhere you have to put an end to it. So then I changed my lifestyle. My night shifts stopped. Then I entered into running. So then came the jogging and running, which I did for 8-9 years. And it was going, gym and running was going perfectly fine.
Let's say from 2008 to...
I would say 2010 or 11 I started
running.
Running and jogging and gym, mix of both. Till 2020 when COVID came.
I see.
So there was no cycling in the entire picture there, because I think when you enter some community, you get the friends and then you drag along with them. So gym tha, running group tha, to chal raha tha uska. 2020 COVID happened, and then my friends, my old school friends, we just connected because everybody was in COVID at home. I was the only one working. I used to go to the airport because the airport was running.
Correct.
Yeah. So I went, so that's when the story, my friend said, what, they are not allowing us to walk on the road.
Yeah.
However, cycling is allowed. So let's get our cycle out. And I'm reading the group and I'm like, yaar, in log ja rahe. I had a pass. I had a special pass because of the thing.
Yeah.
So I said, why not try it out? Instead of taking the car to office, I can cycle to office with the pass.
Okay. So from Dadar to airport?
Because I had a pass, so nobody could stop me because I was traveling. How I travel is not on the pass.
Right.
I can travel to work, that is on the pass.
Right.
So I asked my friend, yes, how do you buy a cycle? कुछ नहीं, शिमानो है क्या पूछने का. मतलब शिमानो क्या है? बोला ग्रुप सेट है. शिमानो है, साइकिल ले ले. Okay, I'm trying to search, nothing is open, and there is this brand, Ride and More, I don't know, they have there's some brand, a local brand. Sakinaka had a store, which he said, I will open the shutter for you, and I have a bike, which is some 20,000 rupees bike. I said, 20,000 bike? ऐसे इतना महंगा नहीं चाहिए, 10-12 हज़ार का. नहीं सर, यही है, क्योंकि आपको शिमानो चाहिए. It was Shimano Sora. मेरा शिमानो है, बोला हाँ शिमानो है. मेरा फिर चलेगा, दे दो. So in my 3-piece suit, I click a photo because I was at office and I took the bike, came home, and it was a hybrid bike. So that's when my journey started.
That was your
first bike.
first bike.
After 2008.
After 2008.
Sorry, after 98. My
Exactly,
bike.
when
after 98.
After the Atlas, basically.
After the Atlas, that was my first bike. It was a Pune brand, which the name sounded international, but it was not international brand. But it did the wonders. And my first day on the bike, I buy a brand new T-shirt. I buy maroon color trousers, which my friends still laugh at me, and I buy sports shoes. And 700 रुपए का helmet. मतलब बस जाना है तो style में जाने का. So that's how. And I went from Dadar to Worli, and I came back, and I'm like, boss, 7 kilometers, too much. That's how the journey started. But then my friends, my friends were there. They said, "Chalo, आज Bandra try करते हैं." Then we went to Bandra. Then I remember they said, "Let's go to Thana." That was the longest ride we ever did in something in July, August 2020. थाना जाके आया, मतलब हमको पता नहीं हमने क्या अचीव कर लिया था. I remember on the way back we stopped at Mulund because we could not ride the whole patch. So we stopped while going. 10 मिनट का ब्रेक लेते थे. And when we came back, we said, बॉस थाना कर लिया, उपवन लेक, मतलब आज तो हमने बहुत बड़ा तीर मार लिया. So I was very curious. I wanted to. Then I had caught up with the cycling fever. I said, this bike will not work for me. I need to get an upgrade.
Yeah.
That's when only 2 bike shops I was recommended. One was another brand, and one was Samir said, because he said that I have a lot of bikes in stock. Come and have a look.
Okay.
So I went there.
So how long did you ride your first
3
bike?
months.
3 months.
June to September.
And in 3 months you're deciding,
Yeah,
okay,
I said I want an upgrade.
I want an upgrade.
I'm not going to go for this one. I said I want an upgrade. So I again went back to my old friends. I said, boss, upgrade में क्या लेने का? You should definitely look for a carbon fork. Carbon fork नहीं है, bike मत लेना. Hello. So I enter Samir shop.
Friends are very mischievous.
But whatever they could help me. Okay, see, we have all learnt. So I enter Samir's shop and he said, yes sir, what is you looking for? I said, वो Shimano 105 चाहिए और कार्बन फोक चाहिए. I'm sure in the मन में बोला होगा ये क्या पागल आदमी लोग हैं, क्या, what is this requirement?
Criteria.
Anyways, but Samir is nice as a person, and he's been very supportive. He said, okay sir, I have this gravel. It was 30, and I still repent selling that bike. I shouldn't have sold it. It was the gravel. It's not Addict. I don't know what is the gravel model you have.
Speedster gravel.
Speedster 30.
Right.
He said 79,000, and I said 79,000. But tempting था. मैंने बोला डन. साइज क्या होता है, कुछ होता है पता नहीं. बोले बाइक पे बैठो, हाथ डालो, बराबर है. मैंने बोला अभी you are the dealer, you know very well. That's how the whole journey of Scott started.
I see.
And that I got the bike home, and my parents said कि कितने गए? मैंने बोला 15,000 का. Because if I would have told them 75,000, they would have jumped out saying, "Are you bloody mad?" So that was 20 September.
20 September. Okay.
So, and I started. Then I realized that the entire EEH patch had not a single nakabandi. That was the only highway which was open without any tambus to stop you. That's when my EEH journey started. I had a pass. I used to then go from Ghatkopar to airport, but ride on that because I used to get a clear patch. Mahim and all, you had a lot of checkposts. So again and again, you had to stop. That's when my EH love started, and me and EH, that's how our journey started on the EH.
The relationship
started on the EH. So that happened, and then I think it was then, and then by January, after 4 months, I was very sure that I am going to get into cycling. So Samir happens to tell me I said, Samir, इसके बाद upgrade क्या है?
Okay.
So he says, sir, Scott foil है, आ रहा है. It's electronic group. So electronic, वो क्या होता है? Sir, everything is battery operated. And he sent me the photo of foil. I said, done. So he told me around 4 lakh rupees. I said, done. We are buying it.
20,000 to 79,000.
70,000, then to 4 lakh rupees. He said 4 lakh rupees. I said, done. Let's buy this. So June 2021 is when the bike came to Samir.
Okay.
And he said, sir, bike आ गया है. आपको confirm है तो I will pick it up. I said, yes, I am confirmed. Let's pick the bike up. So I bought that bike. 21. It was rains. So I was really skeptical कि बारिश में मुझे उसको new machine है. I didn't want to really get on the road. So मैं चलाया थोड़ा, but then I packed it and kept it till September, till rains went, because I had this Speedster.
Right.
And the funniest part is, as you upgrade, you actually become lazy. On the Speedster, I used to put best efforts and get a 32 ka speed on that 11-12 kilo bike with the gravel tire.
Gravel tire.
The mistake I did is somebody said that तभी वो GP 5000 launch हुआ था first edition. बोला ये टायर लगाओगे ना और भागोगे. Dumb as usual. ले लो. That GP 5000 gave me 32 punctures on the EH in the first 3 months. मैंने हाथ जोड़ लिए. ओरिजिनल स्कॉट का हमारा वो जो शॉल्बे प्रो का जो ग्रेवल टायर था वो डाला और उसी के ऊपर I continued because I realized कि that's how over a period of years all these experiments and the cost that it has done. But now I know today ki what machine works where and what to upgrade and what not to upgrade.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So over a period of time, you learn with your own things, and I have learned that way.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's
Just
correct.
because somebody tells you don't do that. And we have got enough of experience now for 4 years to know that what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
So that's how the journey started. So then foil came, and then there was no stopping. Then Khopoli ride started, events started, and that foil was a fantastic machine. That was my first experience with foil. A first experience with something called as a Scott brand, where I could say that okay, this is what I really want. And that foil was a fantastic, really a very good machine. Where I remember उसमें खाली एक drawback हुआ था कि due to technician's error, the wire which has to be connected for the group set,
Right.
it was in the stem, and he forgot it.
Okay.
In the morning 4 o'clock, I reached Khopoli to realize कि why is my group set not चालू नहीं हो रहा है. अभी 4 बजे I would not wake up the technician.
Yeah.
So I came home disappointed because all my friends went, and to wake up 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, reach all the way to Khopoli and then not be able to ride.
It's a big blunder. I mean,
I called up 11 o'clock. मतलब it's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
I called up Samir. I said, Samir भाई कुछ तो है. तो he said, sorry sir, मेरे से गलती. वो technician ने wire जोड़ना भूल गए. I said, लगाओ. But I couldn't go to bed that night. I remember this very well. That I just couldn't go back on that Sunday to say कि I did not ride, because every day was a riding day. 4 o'clock I called my driver. I said, you know what, let's go. मुझे वो 100 किलोमीटर मारना है. तो बोले सर अभी मारोगे? मैंने बोला हाँ. We went to Palm Beach. That's where we used to always start from. And it was 4:30 in the evening. And I don't know, it was about the anger that not able to ride or what it was. 4:30 I remember I started the ride. All the way to Khopoli and back, and I finished around 7:30. It was my fastest 100 on the foil at 37 speed, and it was 2 hours and 46 minutes, which I have that on Strava. But I came back, and that night I could sleep peacefully because I did that. So I don't think maybe I would have done better in the morning. That whole disappointment actually sometimes pushes you. So after that, the foil did fantastically well, and I was sure cycling is my thing, Scott is my brand, and I'm going to continue with it.
Right.
And I've got a lot of support. I was introduced to you, all of you all, and everything was there: spare support, dealer support, till the new foil was going to be launched. I saw that and I'm like, okay, abhi change karna hai.
So from September 21, July
Till
21,
23 March
23 March, you were on
the old foil.
the old foil.
And somehow I've been lucky when I have to sell my bikes. The first one which I bought for 75, I was sold for 60 in 2 years.
Right.
And the foil which I bought for 4 lakhs, I sold for 3.5 lakhs after 2 years of it. So I've got good prices. This one also was about to sell, but I have told him, no, sorry, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to sell this one.
There's a big story behind it. We'll come to that.
We'll come to that. Then this foil was, Samir said, Saurab, this foil is coming. So then I spoke to all my close friends. They all said, we all want to buy the foil.
Okay.
So it was Aniket, it was me, Anant and Abhijit. We all said, okay, we want to buy foil. We told Samir 4. So he said, 4 foils? I said, yeah, we all are buying the foils. Okay. So he said, okay. So 4 foils, we all went on the same day and we all got our foils. Yeah. I think, 3 of us has. Abhijit then later sold his foil. Right. And so that journey of the new foil continued. But the old foil and the new foil, there was a difference, of course, in the whole specs and everything. But I still feel that the new one is much more stiffer. The old one could do a fantastic job, but no complaints. But yeah, that was the difference I could see. Yeah. And then slowly, then the upgrade started. So group set was rival. I changed it to red. Right. The wheel sets were there. I changed it to PCW. The saddle was excellent, but one thing I have to say, Belcra is one of the best saddles that I have used in the previous foil also and this one also. Right. But then when I did the bike fit and all that, which by now we knew that what bike fits are. There was a requirement of a little bigger saddle, and then it was because spares are there, we changed it and the bike was set. So it took me 2 years to really slowly, it's not like you do an overnight change. You work on something
step by step.
Yeah, your body has to get used to it.
Feel based.
Absolutely. Everything. So the wheels changed, the group sets changed, some experiments.
Even the handlebar, I think you.
Handlebar, then we went for the integrated handlebar. Then the oversized pulley changed and bottom bracket changed. Right. And then, because I was sure I had to do this Kashmir to Kanyakumari. So, the build-up started 1.5 years back. Yeah. And up to 6 months before, everything was done and I was practicing. The only saddle which I wanted came a little late, but that also was around 3 months back, which was fitted. And the biggest take I took on is everybody said that, you cannot do a Kashmir to Kanyakumari on a foil. It's a very aggressive bike. Right. These bikes are not made for more than 200 kilometers and you're going to repent it. So I said, you know what? Whatever happens, I know I am not going to carry 2 bikes, because what I realized when I had 2 bikes and I had 3 also, every time I would change on a weekly basis or based on what it was, I used to be very uncomfortable if you ride for a certain time. The 2 guys who told me
They told you that the foil will do the job.
Yeah. He said, these are the only 2 people who told me that don't listen to this gravel, this, that. If you are confident and we see you riding, I think you are very comfortable. Are you comfortable? I said, I'm extremely comfortable. You can put me on a down position for 5 hours also, I will ride. Yeah. So Ronit, of course, did the bike fit and said, and of course then was Kabir. These were the 2 people he said. Kabir told me that, Saurabh, first 700s is a challenge, but if you clear that, then it's just a cakewalk for you. Right. So these 2 people who are the ones who were backing, saying, you please go ahead and do it.
They assured you that the foil
100%.
will definitely do the job.
So he did a perfect saddle fit, and Kabir always told me, go ahead, I have done this route, I know this, and you are foil and you will do wonders. And that's eventually what happened, So first day, like I said, that whole journey started.
We just spoke upon how, you upgraded your equipment, you step by step. But, there's a lot of development on the social aspect also on cycling.
Yeah.
Because, they say a lot of what we do today is linked to our childhood. I mean, if you see, your grandfather gifted you a bicycle, and after, let's say 15 years, almost 2 decades, you again went back to cycling. Yeah. It came back to you. And it changed the way you look at life, it changed your social circle and a lot of other things.
True.
So why don't you tell us how cycling has impacted your social life and the relationships you've developed over the years?
So see, with cycling, actually now there is a balance in my life. Earlier, so I was very sure that career is of course important. So while I've given everything to make sure I don't have to do my success later, do it till you reach 40, because I don't believe in to wait till 50 or 60. That portion of mine, I am glad that whatever I have did and those extra hours, nights that I put in to come where I am today is where I finished at 40. Cycling got me my old school friends, which is Amit, Amay and my Ram, and those circle very, very close, because we were not in touch after school. They were the ones who, and Kalpak and all those people. And second is the other inner circle that I have is Anant and Abhijit. So the social circle basically has reduced, much reduced than what it was before, but you get quality friends, somebody who adds value to your life, somebody who you can share with something, you can learn from them. And of course there are then that whole Cycling Bandits came in picture. I got good friends with 5 AM Club and like-minded people. There is no competition amongst us. We are more than happy to support each other, and a lot of exchanges of good ideas, good conversation. It's not just we meet for coffee and we gossip. We talk about personal lives, we speak about commercial lives, business lives, what can be done better, and of course cycling. So everybody's experience is different. Like in this whole ride, Abhijit is a very technically planned guy. He will plan to the every kilometer possible. Parvez is somebody who will just go with the flow. You tell him this is your job, he will no questions asked. I am the guy who they want to be always in the front to take the entire headwind, because then this to come behind. So we are very and it's a very tandem thing. I will be the first. Unless I get tired, then Abhijit or Parvez comes there. Otherwise we are very synchronized. No competition that you go fast, I go slow. But that's how it works for us. So like-minded people is what, and the social circle became, like I said, smaller. But many cyclists, we know many people, but there is a core group that exists.
Right.
So that is how it is.
Cycling is a very social sport, and also it's very time consuming.
Yeah.
You are the head of operations for Celebi in India, and it's a very, aviation it runs at the time. You don't have a hot second to wait for anything. And cycling, on the other hand, cycling is a sport wherein you need so much time, because it's long hours on the saddle and you need to get ready before night, keep things in place. How do you kind of strike that balance between family, cycling, and also, your work?
So I will take the cue from where you started. For us, every minute counts, because airport operation is about time. How you plan yourself, how the flights have to be turned around. It is that which rolls over here also. So you have basically it's discipline and consistency, which over a period of time gives you all that. So there have been a lot of complaints that my family has, and my friends have, that you don't have time for us on the weekend, because weekends is when our long rides happen.
Correct.
So earlier I was just not giving any weekend, till I came to a stage where then I knew that okay, I have set myself up. Then one weekend in a month I do let it go of not riding. But discipline is, like I said, 9:30 to off to bed. And if it's a longer ride on the weekend, then it's even at 8:30 or 8:45 to wake up in the morning at 2 o'clock and do a long ride. So earlier the long rides were both days. Then we reduced it to one day. So at least that maybe if I do on a Saturday or a Sunday, one day you can take it easy. But there is no other way. If you cannot get up early and finish your day before 8 o'clock, then you are not going to be able to do any longer. So I think it's about discipline and commitment and consistently doing it over and over again. Of course, you need your friends and family to support you for that cause. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Right.
That's how it is.
If you heard till now, I'm sure you're enjoying the show. Don't forget to subscribe our channel on YouTube or follow us on Instagram at Scott Sports India. Download the Epilogue Media app and follow us #the No Shortcuts podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Now let's get back to the show. We always, myself and people at Scott, we think, Saurabh Dalvi rides in the morning and 10 o'clock we see he's at office and, we see your stories. Like, this guy is like on the clock. Like, how does he manage to be at that cafe, have that coffee, do his ride, then report at work and also balance his family? We're always like having that discussion with us.
It is vice versa. Because I wanted to cycle, somehow it went back as a good gesture for my office also, because I could make my team capable. Earlier I was running the show, but I said, you cannot be a control person. If you want your office to run and if you want time off to do the things that you are passionate about, then set your office right. So systems, procedures, people were empowered.
Delegate tasks.
And my CEO also taught me a lot of things. Saurabh, delegate. As you grow up the ladder as a leader, you cannot be controlling everything. So delegation started, make people capable. Why should you get called for everything? So that's when, and then of course, cycling was a passion and is a passion. So if I had to do this, somewhere I had to make those people capable. So that's how the whole journey started. And now the team is, touchwood, they are doing a fantastic job where I get time to do that. And once, of course, I am at office, then they are more than happy to disturb me. But till then, I am taking my time off.
And today, how does a regular weekday look for you?
So Mondays is easy. Fridays is where me, Abhijit and Anand meet for coffee. So that's like an off day.
Okay.
And because the practice was going on for last 6 months, things were scheduled were different. But now, because there is no more event planned for the entire year, it will be like one long ride on the weekend, which we do. And it would be a Monday to Thursday, casual rides. And right. EEH being my first love, I make sure because people are a little wary about EEH. Because of the highways and all that, they still prefer going to NCPA. So NCPA for me is like a casual ride, to be honest with you. And EH is something, so the day I get up in the morning and I've got energy burst, I will tell my friends, what, I'm going to EH today, I will see you later. So that's when one day EH happens, Khopoli rides will happen. And now anyways, rains are going to be here very soon. So then the foil will go back and the gravel will come out again because rains are rains. So Bombay, you have to be careful. But ride will go on. I'm not a trainer person. I have tried my best to put myself on a trainer, but I don't think I'll be able to do that. Not a trainer.
Where did Cycling Bandits and let's say the 5 AM club come into picture? There was some idea while riding, you thought, okay, I should, make a group or something or a community.
So Cycling Bandits was us, like our school friends.
Okay.
And we said, everybody was, there were groups which we saw and we said, why not we also make a group? So few of my friends, they said Cycling Bandits. And when Cycling Bandits came, and we were a very closed group. So Amit was one of my, he's one of the co-founders for Cycling Bandits. He said, what used to happen is when we used to ride, Parth or XYZ used to say, okay, I want to ride with you. So we made a separate group, which we used to open on the weekend. Okay. The group gets opened, you come and join our ride. And because we were very closed, Cycling Bandits, they say it was a guarded property. You were not allowed in Cycling Bandit. Okay. But we used to make a guest group, open the group on Saturday, Sunday, do the rides with us. Monday morning, the group used to be closed. So Amit said that why are we doing this? We need to be more social. That's when, with his idea and with discussion with Ammai, Ram and us, me and everybody, the 5am was formed. And it was like a blessing in disguise. Today we are almost 80 people and it's like
grown over the years.
Grown over the years. Yeah. But Cycling Bandits still remains with 4 of us. And 5am is like, you are more than welcome as long as you are like-minded. We don't, and the motto of the group is clear. There is no leader here. Anybody, and the whole basic idea is if somebody is riding somewhere, somebody should be along with you. It's not like if Saurabh Dalvi says today I want to go to NCA, it does not mean the entire group goes to NCP. So everybody posts their ride. We just want to make sure if you are posting somewhere, somebody from the group says, I'm going to join you. And if you're going alone, just share your tracker. So somebody of us will always keep a check, where you are. That was the whole intention of the 5 AM group. So that's how it works.
I see. In cycling, there are so many different formats. Like, there's race, there's endurance, there's ultra endurance. Today, you call yourself an ultra cyclist, and we'd like to know more about the ultra cycling adventures that you've done. Of course, with the very recent K2K. When did that idea strike for you that, okay, I want to do those long distance rides? And how has kind of endurance cycling helped you in your work as well? Because I think it goes hand in hand, and you develop, for me as a cyclist also, it helps me focus, helps me concentrate, and gives me energy for my work, Yeah. So how has that played out for you?
So earlier, endurance was not on my mind. Nothing was on my mind. It was a blank page. And as I started riding earlier, everybody was always about speed, KOM, PR. That's how the journey of Strava started.
Right.
And it used to be like, I could not come home without 1 KOM or 1 PR. That was how it was for first 2 years. Because everybody was talking about KOM and PR. But eventually when I did Delhi-Bombay as the first challenge, me, Abhijit, Aniket, we all, Parhat, we all went on that. That's when I realized that speed is not for me. And I could test my body, push my body harder and harder. Of course, that was a very unprofessional journey that I did without any diet plans, just sit on the cycle and we kicked off and we finished it. So, which was fine. We were still amateurs when we did Delhi-Bombay.
Yeah.
But after that, it was very sure that,
this is my thing.
Yeah, this is my thing. Then Abhijit aligned, Parvez aligned, and we all knew that we were looking out for endurance rides, not for, the speed was not that. And Abhijit used to always say, speed kya hai? You can just do it and you will finish it. But what is the correct aim is that we need to look at consistency. Can you do 10, 12 hours of riding, which is what matters.
Right.
Speed burst will anyways happen. So then we did the SOU ride. And then SOU was also a very comfortable ride that we did for 800 kilometers in 3 days. That's when we then decided, okay, we need to do something longer. And that's when the K2K
idea. When was that idea discussed?
I think it was
23.
23.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we went back to the organizers to say that, they said Uttar Dakshin is being planned and we would like, if you'd like, we would definitely go ahead. And we said yes. Without even thinking, we said, yeah, we want to. We didn't think whether we'll be able to do it. Abhijit, me, we just said, let's do it. Parad, we want to do it because we had 2 years. Kar lenge main 2 saal mein kya hai? 2 saal baad dekha jayega. But then as the build-up started happening 1 year, 6 months, then we were very sure that, this is coming. And then when the payment started flowing, the plan was set, organizers met, and the distance, the map, then it hit us, ki boss, 6 months.
This is happening.
Now this is happening. Yeah, we are going with it. So that's how the whole event was done. But no matter how you planned it or how we had visualized it, it turned out to be almost very, very different. I would not say easier, on the challenging side.
So let's come into that, Let's talk about the recent K2K. I mean, you cycled 3,500 kilometers from Kashmir to Kanyakumari very recently, along with Abhijit and Parvez and one more. Ketan, right. Yeah. You told that the seed was sown 2 years back, but, leading up to the preparation, strength training, and also in a city like Mumbai, it's so difficult to train, because there's lack of roads and it can become very difficult. How did you navigate through all these challenges, and what was the preparation like? If someone watching wants to think of doing K2K, how should they plan?
See, I think the most important, to answer your previous question, which I forgot, is the kind of work that I do with 3,000 employees that are Bombay alone. The pressure has always been there since the time I joined at workplace. So it's an extremely high pressure job. That helped me for this endurance, and cycle helped me to continue that pressure. It was a balance of both. And so first you have to be mentally prepared, whether you want to do it. It's actually mind over body when they say, if you are mentally prepared, your body will follow it. In this K2K, Kashmir to Kanyakumari also, there were times when you wake up and your body just gives up. 4th or 5th day, you are just like you're sitting there not realizing that what are you going to do. But if your mind pushes you, you go through it. No matter what. And there was pain. I would not say it was easy. Everybody had different kind of pains. I lucky, no chafing for me, nothing of that sort. But arms and legs after, because day 1 and day 2 actually drained us out for the entire 14 days, because first day the roads were very, very bad. And we did a 17-hour 313 with a 2,600 elevation. We reached in the night at 2 o'clock to Pathankot. to only wake up in the morning at 7:30 with a few hours of sleep and realizing that it is raining so heavy with 4 degrees temperature. And we were not prepared to be wet in the rains. We were soaked. We had no choice. We waited for 1 hour rains to stop, but they said that this is not going to stop. Let's, right? Otherwise, we are going to waste the entire day. So we left, and I said to say blessings from our forefathers or whatever it is. It stopped completely raining at 2 o'clock. That's when I immediately changed. Abhijit was the only guy in our group who was completely geared with the whole track pants, and so he was comfortable. Me and Parvez were drenched out. Lucky for us, 2 o'clock it became sunny. We changed. I said, because if we continue in that gear, we are definitely not going to make it the next day. And then so those 2 days were the most tedious and very, very exhausting. It took us 4 or 5 days. So we started 1 hour late every morning till we reached Maharashtra, Nagpur, by which time we could gather the energy back in 3-4 days to continue the journey afterwards. Yeah. Bangalore is where the breaking point was, where most of us were in between. What happens next? We rolled out, and Bangalore onwards, while the roads were fantastic, the -2 Dal Lake we started. Bangalore onwards, it's morning 10 o'clock used to be 42, and by the time it used to be lunchtime, it used to be 52, 53.
Wow.
Yeah.
And on the highways, the heat reflects on
you. Yeah, no, more than heat, the concrete roads and the heat. So you can actually feel the burn on your shoes, like, you're on a flame.
Right.
So it was not easy, but all three of us, what I can tell you is, if you have the right people to support you, you are just sailing through. All of us had our own challenges, but nobody left each other's back. It was like I said, we were not there to compete with each other. We were there to make sure we finish. So, Ketan, me, Abhijit and Parvez, we just made sure if somebody was falling back, I would reduce my speed, come together, 1 hour, talk, do whatever you want. But that whole comfort zone was there. Right. And then once that rolling starts again, then, you get in the groove. So it talks a lot about your, the challenge is there. But you wouldn't tell yourself, why should I only look for myself? You don't look for yourself, you look for everybody who's riding with you. It's not easy, because you can finish that faster because you are already in the burst of that energy, but you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that only for the reason that you wouldn't want to leave your other friends aside. So that was how it was. Right. So it was something which we learned, and we knew this because me, Abhijit and Parvez have been riding together. So we have that tandem between us where we coordinate very well. Yeah. But that actually helped us to really go through it.
Correct.
So, yeah.
SD, you dedicated your ride, to the spirit of India, and kind of the language that you speak is very inclusive. What would you like to say about seeing the country on a bicycle and traveling through all states? Because the language changes in a few hundred kilometers, the food changes, the people change. Yeah. What was your experience like, and what had you thought of before getting on to the adventure, and how you are changed as a person as well after the whole K2K?
So I had not thought anything. I said we will take it as it comes, because when you think too much and it doesn't happen the way you think it, then you get disappointed. So I didn't want to go with any disappointment. The route was known. What were the basic that we require was communicated, and those basics were given to us. So that is what I was only comfortable with. Whatever would happen actual, apart from the road being bad, which was not expected, rest everything was a complete blank page, go without any expectation.
That was a preset in your mind.
Yeah, basic preset of safety car, technician, right. What I needed, that was there. And apart from that, nothing was set. Yeah, of course, the road was expected to be better, but that turned out to be a big disappointment. But for me, I have always been with the roots, and India is something that I have born, and even if I studied in UK and a lot of opportunities for me to move to world over, I was very sure in my mind I would never live anybody but India. No matter what it was, my mind was very clear that I will always come back. So when I finished my London degree, the day I finished it, I didn't even wait for my project. I said I will go back home, submit it from there, and I came back home. Because for me, I am very much rooted to my family. And being the only child, I never would leave my parents away and let them be here, and because I'm the only child. So I understand, while they'll be always happy for you, but it's not a good thing to family of 3 and you are everywhere across the world. Right. So that was there, and I was very politically inclined before. I wanted to enter politics. So that was also, I was experimenting, but then I realized that with Chalabi and my corporate life that I've taken a step and got so deep into it, I wouldn't want to change anywhere. So, like I said, India is there is a lot of correlation that happens at work. With my work, with 3,000 employees, you have people of every state.
Right.
Because Bombay is a cosmopolitan. So we don't have only local people working. We have everybody from top Kashmir to Assam to you name the state, and we have people. So that inclusivity anyways comes in you.
Yeah.
And because of that inclusivity, the exposure to have, you cannot say that you have to be perfect. Everybody has their own limitations, and that is how you work with a team. So that over a period has, fine-tuned me to way that you have to be protective, supportive, and most importantly, accommodative. Don't expect everybody to be the same that you are, or anybody to be everybody has their pros and cons. So that, with that mind, that whole training of last 15, 18 years that I've been working with so many people, I think that was the whole journey, exactly what happened in K2K. So Uttar Dakshin was same, we started from Kashmir, people were very, very friendly. Everybody has been friendly, but friendliness differs from state to state.
Yes.
Yeah, so nothing to complain. I think everybody has, the only thing that I know is when you complain for a metropolitan city like Mumbai, roads are bad, these are that are bad. But I have seen those smaller towns where a basic requirement also sometimes is difficult to find. Not naming anything, but that's when you realize how lucky you are in Bombay. Just get down somewhere around and you will just order it and it comes home.
Correct.
It might be a small button cell, it might be a food product, or it might be a lace.
Correct.
It comes to. But there are things that we were hunting for, and there were miles and kilometers we couldn't find it. So we realized it's not the same across India. You say India is developed and all tier 2, tier 3, but not to a level that you would compare a tier 1 city.
Yeah.
So
this was the first time you saw the nation like so close, right?
Yes.
India
in a short span.
In a short span, like across 14 days, across so long. And what you were mentioning earlier, about inclusivity and about, being approachable, is that your leadership style? I mean, you're leading a team of 3,000 people.
Yes.
What is your leadership style?
So I think it's more of delegation. And I think as a leader, you have to make sure that you prepare more people. And you don't have to leave a legacy behind. You don't have to say that, it was me who marked it and nobody could step in my shoes. You, in fact, as a leader, I think for me now, the style has changed where I am at the back seat and my other people are the ones who are actually taking it forward, because the more of your proteges you see successful, for me, that makes me more happy. That these are the people, these are my colleagues who have learned and they are actually now successful. So that is my leadership style. See your team to grow. Then you come in the front for and say that I am the one who's doing it. That's not how it works. So for me, I think that's the other way around.
Right. HD, what's ahead now? You've done the K2K, and is there something like an East-West coming up, or what's on the cards ahead?
Somebody is leaking information, but yeah.
I don't know. That's most obvious thing to think
So
of.
nothing for 25. I think enough for 24. Like what I would ride in 4 months, we have done in 14 days. And like I said, we will do rides, but nothing major is coming this year. 25 there might be an east-west, that since we have done that, we cannot leave that side also. So we will plan something. Abhijit has something in his mind. So if he says it's planned, we don't have no questions asked. With us in our riding community, there are this set of guys who just say, this is done, you have to go. We don't ask questions. Right. When to go, how to go is the only thing that we ask, and we plan that. But eventually, like I said, me, Sonjal, Abhijit, and few of us, we are planning to do the Paris Brevet for 27. But for me, if the East-West happens, it will happen. But definitely all other ones are going to be international, followed by RAM, and also it's something that we will start.
This is just the beginning.
This was just the beginning, and something that I would start to know where I am standing. Now I know where I stand, what is my capability, and what equipment I can do with. So that I'm very sure of. Like I said, the biggest myth buster was aerobikes are not meant for endurance. That is the biggest take I took from it. And of course, a very good diet, what I was given by my friend Sonjal, that worked wonders. She put me on a veg diet, and I laughed it out. I said, you are giving a person who's a non-veg eater who doesn't eat veg on veg diet. She said, trust me, do this and it will help you. And it has worked so fantastic for me that I was in the best of performance to a level where I could again do a repeat ride in next 14 days also, and I wouldn't mind.
Why don't you give a shout out to all the people, who were not there with you on the ride on K2K, but who are, kind of your support systems and who helped you with, let's say, nutrition, your family?
So I think first is my immediate family, my very close friends. Of course, it's Scott India because you and everybody have been very, very supportive. All my parts that are hangers, something which is so small. Samir, my bike fitter on it. There has been Jayesh and everybody in my bandits, cycling bandits. All my three of them. In fact, I would like to say Amit was somebody who came all the way till Kanyakumari to receive us there. So Amay and Anosh and Ram had planned, but they had some things that they couldn't do. But Amit actually landed up there. That was the best surprise we could do. So them and of course the entire 5am team and Sonjal, my sports nutritionist, everybody have, I think it's not only one, everybody together have, and of course I could not do this without Abhijit, Anant, Parvez and Ketan. So, and very unfortunate, Parhad had some last moment changes that, because of which he couldn't come. Otherwise, Parhad would also be one of us because he had done Delhi Bombay with us, and of course it was only few hours before we were flying out that he had a family emergency and he had to back up.
SD, we started this No Shortcuts podcast in an attempt to bring out the stories of cyclists, athletes and, triathletes. Because there's so much to learn from each other, and we believe that by bringing out these stories, we aim to inspire people to, let's say, pick up a cycle or a sport or any sport to discover by themselves what is the transformative power of a sport. And it's been great talking to you. And at Scott, we believe that in doing the right things for the right way, we also feel that the greatest personal achievements are no accidents. They are hard-earned and well-deserved. Your story reflects a similar spirit. What does No Shortcuts mean to you?
So I think for me, No Shortcuts is basically a mirror. Either you hide behind a mirror or you face the mirror and you face the person in the mirror to push yourself to the best. So I think for me, No Shortcuts is basically look in the mirror, look in your eyes and do what you are doing very truthfully. That's the only way that you can move forward. If you hide behind that mirror, that's not going to help you. So I think it's basically consistency and be truthful to yourself. And I always there's like they said, SD they call you, but there's a line I put forward. It's the myth, the man, the legend, and it's SD. So that has been, so it's taken both ways around. But yeah, so I think it's all about you, yourself, and discipline, which will get you wonders. You can upgrade your best of tech, but if you yourself are not disciplined, I don't think you're going to get anywhere. To maintain discipline and consistency is exactly where you will get yourself. And I can never say life is, I have learnt everything. Life will always be a journey. Cycling was never planned. Like I said, 2020 is when I started. 6 years down the line, 5 years down the line, I have come a long way. And I still don't feel that I would say that I have learnt everything. There are so many people that I see who are doing much, much better than what I am doing, and I am still learning to get there. So it will be a continuous journey. Right. But definitely cycling is going to be a long part of my life, no matter at what intensity, that depends. But I just want to make sure I continue that.
Right. Actually leading up to today, I was trying to, do my homework and, go across your social media. And two things really stood out for me is the way you dress and the way you carry yourself. And the second is, you have these nice one-liners and two-liners that you put across, Where do you churn out? Is it while riding the bike, or is it just these thoughts which you write, the poet or philosopher in you comes out?
No. So this started earlier, I saw some quotes and I said, okay, this relate to me. So I started putting them pictures. Nothing was, like I said, nothing was planned.
Yeah.
But over 1 year, I got so many responses from people to say that, there was a time that I stopped for 1 month. But I said, it's done, over with. They said, why did you stop? We were reading it, we were really liking it. Yeah, so then when I started again, and that's how it was when people encourage you, your real friends tell you, we liked what you did. Then you it doesn't have to be 1,000. I know there are a handful of them, 10, 15, 20, who will make sure no matter what time the story goes up, they will always give you an heart, and they will always make sure that they say good or bad. It's not always good. They will say, okay, this could have been this. But there is a response to it, which means that, they are actually concerned, or they like to read it, or they'd like to comment on it. That's when it all started. And of course, there are many now, but...
What is that one quote you'd like to be kind of remembered by or associated?
No, the quote is simple. The myth, the man, the legend. Yeah, that's the quote.
All right.
But yeah, because, every day that I learn something new, then the coach starts relating to that. One week you have leadership issues, 1 week you have manpower issues, 1 week you have personal life crisis. So all of that then gets you to think, and then you mix and match sometimes if you like somebody else's quote, then you quote that as well. But it's a mix of all. It's not everything doesn't come from my mind. Okay. Some things are always taken, some things are mixed, or some things come naturally to you. That's how it works.
Right. So we have a couple of rapid fires. The first one is, I really want to know how many 3-piece suits do you have? Because every day I'm watching it.
So around 40 suits. Yeah. So they change every 3 years because I am changing, the body structure changes, but 3 years is what you do, and one suit doesn't get repeated. 40, 50 with a lot of mix and matches.
And counting. So 40 and counting.
Yeah, 40 and counting. So that's how it is. So if my wardrobe is very simple, it's either suits that I am mostly or the cycling gear. Right. So it's very, and all of them fit me perfect. So it's like all are tight fits. So yeah, that's how it is. And of course on the weekend shorts and jeans, but my wardrobe is very simple.
Yeah, I've never seen you in casuals. Always
It's
cycling attire or.
It's always been that way. I think you need to always give your best. Dressing is not to impress, but dressing is to keep your own self-confidence going. So I don't want to impress anybody. This is what I like to dress up, and that's how I do it.
Yeah. Second is, which is the most beautiful place you've ridden your bicycle?
Right now I think it's Kashmir to Kanyakumari, because no route defines the experience that I got from a Dal Lake in the morning to a Kanyakumari that last day when we have gone through it, and the last 50 kilometers when you know what you have gone through for last 14 days and you are now at your destination, and the route was really beautiful with windmills all across both sides and a fantastic road. I think I wouldn't really dispute it to say that Kashmir to Kanyakumari for me has been one of the best routes so far.
Third is, what is your favorite kind of indulgence food-wise? Sweet or street food? Something like that?
I can go from a street food to anything. For me, anything which is tasty, which can be either served at a stall or which can be served in a 5-star. Doesn't matter. The food has to have taste, and that taste done. Mostly it is roadside. Chinese is my favorite. I like Indian food as well. And sweet indulgence tooth is there, but it has been reduced for last 3 years because of the reasons that you know best. But once in a month you do indulge. It's not like you cannot deprive your body completely, but sweet tooth is definitely there, and it can be ice creams. I'm not a cake or dessert person, but anything which is non-standard as a dessert is always exciting to try.
Right. Saurabh, so many times you've mentioned the names of your friends and your colleagues, and you come off as a very approachable and very approachable guy, and it's been great talking to you. And I think the kind of support systems you've built and the circle you are, and the socially how you amalgate with everyone is really very endearing, and you emanate a kind of energy that everyone would like to be a part of. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. It's really great talking to you.
We look forward to many more adventures on the Scott foil and have you again.
Definitely.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'd love to know what you thought about the episode in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe us on YouTube at Scott Sports India or follow us on Instagram. Big thanks to our friends at Epilogue Media who produced this show. And until next time, this is the No Shortcuts podcast by Scott Sports India.